Buddhāvataṃsaka Sutra. Book 21. 10 Practices. Video 3. Then the enlightening being forest of virtues, by the spiritual power of the Buddha, looked over all the congregations in the 10 directions, throughout the cosmos. Because he wanted to cause the lineage of Buddhas to continue, to cause the family of enlightening beings to be pure, to cause those who undertake vows not to regress, to cause practitioners to persevere, to cause all peoples in all times to be equal, to contact all the strains of Buddhas of all times, to expound roots of goodness that have been cultivated, to observe and analyze all faculties, inclinations, understandings, afflictions, habits, and mental activities, and to clarify the enlightenment of all Buddhas, set in verse. Wholehearted honor to the Lords of 10 powers, undefiled, totally pure, the unobstructed seers. Their realm is profound and far-reaching, beyond compare, they abide in the space-like path. The supreme among humans in the past, with immeasurable virtue, free from attachments, foremost in valor, without any peer, those beyond the dusts travel this path. Now in the lands of the 10 directions the ultimate truth is ably explained, free from all faults, utterly pure, the independent travel this path. The future lions among humans travel everywhere throughout the cosmos. Having evoked the Buddha's mind of compassion, the benefactors travel this path. The incomparable honored ones of all times naturally destroy the darkness of ignorance, equanimous toward all things. Those of great power travel this path. They see countless, boundless worlds everywhere, all their beings and conditions, yet having seen do not discriminate falsely. The imperturbable travel this path. Understanding everything in the cosmos, most clear about the ultimate truth, they forever destroy anger, pride, and folly. The virtuous travel this path. Accurately distinguishing sentient beings, they enter into the true nature of all phenomena, spontaneously understanding without relying on others. The space-like travel this path. To all lands throughout space they go and teach, through many examples, what they teach pure and irrefutable. The supreme sages travel this path. Thoroughly stable, unregressing, they accomplish the noble, supreme teaching. Willpower inexhaustible, they reach the other shore. Good practitioners travel this path. All stages, infinitely boundless, their vast, most deep and subtle realms, all they know and see, without exception. The lions of philosophy travel this path. Understanding the meanings of all expressions, crushing all disputes, they are certain of the truth, without a doubt. The great sages travel this path. Getting rid of the errors and ills of the world, giving peace and happiness to all beings, they can be peerless great guides. Those of excellent virtue travel this path. They always give impartially to beings, causing them all to rejoice, their minds pure, free from all taint. The peerless ones travel this path. Their mental actions are pure and well-tuned. Divorcing sophistry, they speak without fault. Their magnificent aura is admired by all. The supreme travel this path. Entering truth, reaching the other shore, abiding in virtue, minds forever at rest, the Buddhas always protect them. Those who extinguish being travel this path. Detached from self, free from affliction, always proclaiming the truth aloud, they reach all lands in the 10 directions. The incomparable travel this path. having fulfilled transcendent generosity. Adorned by 100 marks of blessing, all who see them are joyful. The supremely wise travel this path. The state of knowledge, hard to enter, they can abide in by subtle wisdom, their minds ultimately imperturbable. Those firm in practice travel this path. Able to enter all realms of being in the cosmos and find the ultimate wherever they enter, their spiritual powers free and all-embracing. Those illumined by truth travel this path. The incomparably great sages cultivate the non-duality of concentration, their minds always in equipoise, enjoying tranquility. The all-seers travel this path. The interpenetration and distinction of minute and great lands they know all in their proper spheres. The mountain kings of knowledge travel this path. Their intellects are always clear and clean, without attachments in the world. Keeping the precepts, they reach the other shore. The pure-minded travel this path. Knowledge and wisdom boundless, inexpressible, pervading the space of the cosmos, they ably learn to abide therein. Those of indestructible wisdom travel this path. Their knowledge enters and pervades the realms of all Buddhas of all times, never for a moment growing tired or wearied. The supreme travel this path. Well able to discern the elements of the 10 powers, they know where all paths lead. Their actions are unhindered and they are free. Those embodying virtue travel this path. All the sentient beings there are. In the infinite worlds in the 10 directions they will rescue without forsaking. The fearless travel this path. Earnestly practicing the Buddha teachings, their minds ever vigorous and indefatigable, they purify all the worlds. The great dragon kings travel this path. Knowing the dissimilarities in beings' faculties and the countless differences in inclination and understanding, they clearly comprehend all kinds of realms. Those who go everywhere travel this path. To infinite lands in the worlds of the 10 directions they go and are born, countless times, with never a thought of weariness or disdain. The joyful ones travel this path. Radiating nets of countless lights illuminating all worlds, they enter the nature of reality wherever the light shines. The good-minded travel this path. Causing the lands of the 10 directions to tremble countless billions of trillions, they do not cause the beings to fear. This is the path traveled by benefactors of the world. Understanding all principles of language, they are consummately skilled in dialogue, their brilliant discursive intellect knowing all. This is the path traveled by the fearless. They understand the various lands with various orientations, discerning, thinking, finding the ultimate, causing all to abide in the state of inexhaustibility. This is the path traveled by those of superior intellect. Their virtues are infinitely numerous. They cultivate them all in search of the Buddha way, and reach the other shore of them all. This is the path traveled by the inexhaustible workers. The world-transcending philosophers with supreme eloquence roar the lion's roar, causing all living beings to reach the other shore. This is the path traveled by the pure-minded. They have already been crowned with the supreme teaching of the Buddhas. Their minds always dwell in the truth. The broad-minded travel this path. Sentient beings have innumerable differences. They comprehend their minds thoroughly, maintaining with certainty the treasury of Buddha teachings. Those like polar mountains travel this path. They are able to reveal countless sounds in each and every word, enabling beings to understand in accord with their kind. The unhindered seers travel this path. Their knowledge has impartial access to all rules of language, while they dwell in the realm of real truth. This is the path traveled by those who see the essence. Abiding at peace in the deep ocean of truth, able to verify all actualities, they understand the true aspect of signlessness of things. This is the path traveled by those who see the truth. They travel to every Buddha land over countless, boundless eons, observing and meditating ceaselessly. This is the path traveled by the indefatigable. Infinite, countless Buddhas, their names each different, they clearly see in the space of a point. This is the path traveled by those of pure virtue. They see Buddhas in the space of a point, their number beyond measure or speech. The same true for every phenomenon. The children of Buddhas travel this path. Measureless, boundless, countless eons they clearly see in an instant, and know their length has no fixed characteristics. This is the path traveled by the liberated. They can cause all who see them to benefit, all planting affinities with the Buddha teaching, yet they have no attachment to their deeds. This is the path traveled by the most excellent. Meeting Buddhas for billions of eons with never a thought of weariness, the joy in their hearts increases more and more. This is the path traveled by those who don't see in vain. Observing the realms of all beings over countless, boundless eons, they've never seen that a single being exists. This is the path of the steadfast heroes. Cultivating boundless stores of virtue and knowledge, they are pure, cool universal reservoirs of virtue benefiting all beings. The foremost of humans travel this path. The various species in the universe, filling space, uncountable, they know all exist in terms of words. This is the path traveled by lion roarers. Able in each individual concentration to enter countless concentrations, they arrive at the recondite depths of the teaching. The expounders of the moon travel this path. With the power of acceptance they practice earnestly and reach the other shore, able to accept the supreme teaching of dispassionate extinction, their minds equanimous and imperturbable. This is the path traveled by those of boundless knowledge. At one seat in one world their bodies are unmoving, ever tranquil, yet they manifest their bodies in everything. Those of boundless bodies travel this path. Countless, boundless lands they cause to enter at once into one atom, which is able to contain all unhindered. Those of boundless thought travel this path. Comprehending what is so and what is not, they are able to enter the realm of all the 10 powers and accomplish the supreme powers of the enlightened. This is the path traveled by the foremost in power. Countless, boundless consequences of acts in past, future, and present ages, they always comprehend by knowledge. This is the path traveled by those of consummate understanding. Understanding right and wrong timing in the world, they civilize beings according to necessity, in every case adapting to their needs. This is the path traveled by those who comprehend. Guarding well their action, speech, and thought, always making them apply the teaching in practice, they divorce all attachments and conquer all demons. This is the path traveled by the wise. Able to skillfully adapt the teachings, and able to enter the impartiality of true thusness, their eloquent exposition is inexhaustible. This is the path of Buddha practice. Having fulfilled the method of mental command, able to rest in the treasury of non-obstruction, they comprehend all realms of reality. This is the path of those who delve deeply. Equal in mind, same in knowledge as all Buddhas of all times, they are of one nature and one character. This is the path of the unimpeded. Having removed all veils of ignorance and entered deeply into the ocean of knowledge, they bestow pure eyes on all sentient beings. This is the path of those with eyes. Having fulfilled the impartial, non-dual practice of spiritual powers of all the guides, they attain the independent power of the enlightened. This is the path of the well-cultivated. They travel through all worlds, showering everywhere the boundless rain of wondrous teaching, causing all to gain certain understanding of the meaning. This is the path of the clouds of teaching. Able to produce non-regressing pure faith in the Buddha's knowledge and liberation, they produce the roots of knowledge and wisdom by faith. This is the path traveled by those who learn well. Able to know in a single instant all living beings, without exception, they comprehend the intrinsic nature of beings' minds. This is the path of those who realize naturalistness. To all lands in the cosmos, countless, they can travel by projection, their bodies most subtle, beyond comparison. This is the path of peerless action. Buddha lands are boundless and countless. There are infinite Buddhas therein. Enlightening beings appear before them all, attending, providing, engendering respect. Enlightening beings can, with a single body, enter concentration, become poised in stillness, and cause that body to appear as countless bodies, each rising from concentration. The abode of enlightening beings is most profound and subtle. Their practices and deeds are free from nonsense. Their minds are pure, always happy, able to cause all beings joy. The differences in faculties and nature are clearly apparent to their knowledge, yet they realize all faculties have no basis. This is the path of the tamers of the intractable. Able to expediently distinguish with skill, they are versatile masters of all teachings. The worlds of the 10 directions are each different. They live therein and perform Buddha work. Their faculties are subtle, so are their deeds. They are able to expound the truth broadly to beings, who would not rejoice on hearing them. This is the path traveled by those equal to space. Their eye of knowledge is pure, without peer. They see all things clearly, this knowledge expediently distinguishing them. This is the path traveled by the peerless. All inexhaustible great virtues they have cultivated to consummation, to cause all beings to be pure. This is the path traveled by the incomparable. Urging all to cultivate the aids to the path, causing all to dwell on the ground of method, they liberate beings without number, without ever forming a concept of beings. They observe all opportunities and affinities, first protecting others' minds, making them non-contentious, showing all sentient beings the place of peace. This is the path traveled by the skillful. Perfecting highest, ultimate knowledge, replete with measureless, boundless knowledge, they are fearless among all groups of people. This is the path of the knowers of means. All worlds and all phenomena they can enter into with freedom. They also enter all congregations and liberate countless beings. In all lands in the 10 directions they beat the great drum of truth and awaken the living. As givers of teaching they are unsurpassed. This is the path traveled by the unperishing. With one body sitting cross-legged upright they fill countless worlds in the 10 directions, yet cause their bodies not to be crowded. This is the path of those with the body of reality. In one doctrine, one statement, they can explain boundless principles, and no limit to them can be found. This is the path traveled by those of boundless knowledge. They learn the Buddhāvataṃsaka liberations well, attain Buddha knowledge without obstruction, develop fearlessness, and become valiants of the world. This is the path traveled by the skillful. They know the oceans of worlds in the 10 directions, and also know the oceans of all Buddha lands, and comprehend the oceans of knowledge and truth. All who see them are filled with joy. Sometimes they show entering the womb, sometimes birth, sometimes the attainment of enlightenment. Thus they cause all worldlings to see. This is the path traveled by the unbounded. In countless billions of lands they manifest themselves entering nirvana, but really they don't give up their vows for extinction. This is the path of the heroic philosophers. The indestructible, esoteric, unique, subtle body is equal to the Buddhāvataṃsaka, no different, but all sentient beings each see it differently. This is the path of the one true body. The real cosmos is all equal, without distinction, containing infinite, boundless meanings. They enjoy contemplating oneness, minds unmoving. This is the path of knowers of all times. In terms of sentient beings and enlightening teachings, their constructions and empowerments are consummate. Their supporting power is the same as the Buddhas. The supreme upholders of teaching travel this path. Their power of psychic travel is unimpeded. Like Buddhas, their clairvoyance is unhindered and utterly pure. Their auditory faculties, unobstructed, can hear well. This is the path of those with unhindered minds. All their spiritual powers are fully complete, all developed according to their knowledge. They know all, without peer. This is the path traveled by the wise. Their minds are rightly concentrated, unwavering. Their knowledge is boundlessly vast. They comprehend all realms. This is the path traveled by the all-seers. Having already arrived at the shore of all virtue, they can deliver beings one after another, their minds ultimately never wearying. This is the path traveled by the constantly diligent. They know and see the teachings of the Buddhas of all times, and are born in the family of the enlightened. The Buddha children travel this path. They have fully developed adaptive speech and skillfully refute all opposition, and always can proceed toward enlightenment. This is the path of those with boundless wisdom. One light illumines boundlessly, filling all lands in the 10 directions, causing all worlds to gain great brightness. This is the path of the darkness destroyers. According to what should be seen and supported, they manifest the pure body of the enlightened, teaching and edifying billions of beings and adorning Buddha lands the same way. In order to enable sentient beings to transcend the world, they cultivate all the sublime practices. This activity is boundlessly great. How could anyone be able to know? Even if the body were reproduced to an unspeakable number, equal to the space of the cosmos, and all should together laud their virtues, they could not finish them in a billion eons. Enlightening beings' virtues have no bounds. They have fulfilled all cultivation, even countless, boundless Buddhas could not tell of them all in measureless eons. How much less could mundane gods and humans, listeners and self-illumined ones, be able in unlimited eons to sing their praises exhaustively. The end of Book 21.